Alright, hear me out. If Eddie Vedder is my biggest influence, and Pete Townsend is Eddie Vedder's biggest influence, then that makes Pete Townsend my musical grandpa. And I thought, when I saw Justin Taylor's request for Behind Blue Eyes, that we're not spending enough time with my musical grandpa. So, here we go. Check it out. He does the plucking like you can tell on the recording he did it on the fly, because it's different in every measure and there's no real pattern. So I was thinking I'll just give you a good plucking pattern and you can work on that. This is my favorite plucking pattern. If you like it, use it. If you have your own, use that. You could try, if you're a beginner, just plucking half as many or even a quarter as many strings and switching the chords. That's a good way to go about it. But here's the whole thing, and you can use or throw away as much or little of it as you'd like. So start with E minor. That's the first chord of the song. That's the first chord of the verse. The intro chord's different. We'll get there. Anyways, E minor. We're going to pluck E, D, G, D. That's the first four. We're going to do four more. E, B, G, B. Again. E, D, G, D. E, B, G, B. Now that works for E minor because E minor has 6 notes in it, 6 strings in it, but when we're going to switch to a different chord, one with 5 or 4 notes in it, like C or D, all you got to do is change where you start. So on the C chord, a 5-string chord, you're going to go A, D, G, D, E, B, G, B. So the only thing that changes is what you start on A. Everything else is the same. When you go to D, which is a 4-string chord, it's going to be D, G, B, G. That's all different. E, B, G, B. So it's kind of like the B string gets double duty there because it serves as the... I can't think about that anymore. Okay, here we go. At any rate, that pattern is D, G, B, G, E, B, G, B. Okay, great. Enough of the plucking pattern. The first chord of the song, the intro, is E suspended 4. A chord, every major and minor chord without a fancy like number or something after it, is made up of 3 notes, the root, the third, and the 5th. So our third in E is G sharp, there it is, first fret of the G string. We got a root, a 5th, a root, a third, a 5th, and a root. So 1/2 step higher than the third is the 4th. That's what makes a suspended 4 chord a suspended 4 chord. You'll see that written as sus 4. I always wondered what sus meant, and it made me angry, and now we all know. Okay, so do your plucking pattern on E suspended 4. That's 2, 2, 2 on the A, D, and G strings. 3 times, 4 times. And then we move on to the verse, which is E minor, G, D, D again, but this D we can make fancy a little bit. I'm going to do the sus 4 thing here. Pete does it different in whatever year of the video you're watching. It's a little different, so do kind of what works for you. You go crazy trying to learn every version. One time I went crazy with Yellow Ledbetter for a year and a half. I learned as many versions note for note as I could. I learned a lot. See the pinky finger there? So I broke pattern and plucked the baby E string at the beginning of the second measure of D. C add 9, but we're going to leave the E string open. Speaking of our roots and our thirds and our 5ths, E is the third of the C chord, and G is the 5th. So whether or not you put your pinky here, it is a C add 9 chord. We have this C add 9 chord with the E, the third, in the top, which is the bottom string to the ground. This is the bottom string, but it's the top string to the sky. It's so backwards. All right, anyways, C add 9 with an E in the top, or C add 9 with a G in the top. They're both C add 9, and there's no way to know which one it is if you just see C add 9 written, but they both are. In Behind Blue Eyes, it's the one with the E on the top, not the G, so... And then A suspended 2, which is A, with nothing on the B string. That's an open B. B is the second note of the A major scale. You don't have to think too hard to remember that. A, B. It's the next letter in the alphabet, right? So that's A, B. The second one, remove your ring finger from A, and you have A suspended 2. So here's the verse all together, nice and a little bit slow. Okay, chorus. C, D, G. Now, to do a G sus4, unfortunately, the fourth note of the G chord, or scale, is a C. So to do a G, to accomplish a G sus4, we have to switch this all around. Leave your pinky where it is. Put your ring finger on E3. Put your middle finger on A2. Now you'll see this looks like the other kind of G when we have the open B, or instead of the B string 3rd fret, right? The two kinds of Gs. The C note is located here on the 1st fret of the B string. So what I'm getting at is this G, because Pete does that sometimes, right, in this song. And then C, D, and then when he's feeling frisky, Pete goes like this. Not like that, like this. Which is an E power chord, played with one finger, but first you bend into it with a funky bluesy G note here. That's an E power chord. We're not playing the G string, the B string, or the E string. And then an A, and then a G sharp note. That's the 4th fret of the E string. Back to our E power chord. You can do all that. Or you can just play an E. Here's the chorus. I'll do it, I'll do it I don't know. I haven't decided yet, we'll see. Or, this is the second half, into the E. Now, B minor, B minor 2, 4, 4, 3, or 2, 3, G4, D4. See the fingers I'm using there? Pointer, middle, pinky, ring finger. You can do that. Of course, that changes your B minor chord into a 4-string chord, not a 5-string chord. So you're going to do the D pattern, not the C pattern, or the A pattern. That's another 5-1, right? All right. So B minor, where was I? For 2 measures. C, D, A. Here's the whole chorus with no talking. C, D, G, C, D, B minor, C, D, A. I sus4'd the A there just then because I felt like it. B string 3rd fret, back to B string 2nd fret. Great, that's the verse and the chorus. Now we just have the rocky part that comes, and that is E, B minor, E. If you have trouble getting to B minor, play power chords. E power chord, which we already discussed. B power chord. A power chord. That totally works too. Either way. And it does once the singing starts. Oh, also notice on the B minor the way I make it staccato, which is the fancy way of saying short. I'm just squeezing just when I strum. Not taking my fingers all the way off, that'd be this. That's not that. You just, like, put your fingers in position, they're touching the strings all real light. When you strum, you press, and then you unpress. Down, up, down, up, and then D. B minor, A, D, B minor, A. So once the singing starts, it switches between two E1s and two D1s. Great. And then the last part is going to be B major, that is 2, 4, 4, 4, and that's all we hear, the A, the D, the G, and the B strings. Now this is a really tricky chord. If you don't want to do this, take your A, move it up 2 frets, and you have a B major chord. You're just only allowed to play D, G, and B. At any rate, there's that. Okay, so B, A, G, D, D, B, A, G, D, D. Rhythm's the same as the last part. It's just instead of same chord, da da, it's the A and the G get those 2 ups. Now I'm lost. You do this 3 times. Back to the verse. And that's how you play Behind Blue Eyes with my plucking pattern. Like I said, if you have one that you like, do that. If you want to just strum it, do that. Totally Behind Blue Eyes. Pre-1998, so you're allowed to do that with the D. Do whatever variation of the chord you want and make it yours, as my 10th grade chemistry teacher used to say. Mr. Chuck Morale. Good guy. Sorta kinda pluck and sorta kinda strum, that works too. Beautiful song, beautiful melody. Man, the bass is just amazing in this song. The bass is amazing in every Who song. But at any rate, that's all I have to say about this Who song. So Justin, thank you again for the request. I'm assuming if you're watching this, then you wanted to learn it too. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.